Today, we are going to explore the definition of leadership as we will all encounter different forms of leaders in our lives and may be tasked with leading ourselves. Leadership is not about being in charge, it is about taking care of those in your charge. These words by Simon Sinek redefine leadership not as power, but as responsibility. Too often, people think of leadership as control, authority, or charisma, but real lasting leadership, the one that transforms lives, creates movements and organizations, is grounded in something so much more deeper. This is a picture of Donald Trump, our current president. Is he a great leader or a great businessman? How about Steve Jobs? Is he a great leader or an amazing founder? What does leadership look like to you? Do you resonate with the picture on top or the bottom? The authors of the work that I am presenting you today believe that effective leadership is driven by purpose, modeled through behavior, and guided by unchanging principles of influence and trust. Leadership begins with purpose, Mr. Sinek argues, that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. In his book, Start With Why, Mr. Sinek introduces us to the golden circle of communication. Start with why, then explain how, and finish with what. He explains while most leaders communicate from the outside in, starting with what they do, great leaders work from the inside out, explaining their why. Sinek provides the example of Apple. Their why isn't about selling computers, it is about challenging the status quo and thinking differently. Coming up with different products like the iPad, the iPhone, and that's what resonates with consumers. Leaders who lead with purpose ignite belief. They give people something to belong to, not just something to follow. In the Leadership Challenge, Kouzes and Posner introduced the concept of leadership through modeled behaviors. While Mr. Sinek explains the why, Kouzes and Posner explains the how. In the Leadership Challenge, the 5 practices of exemplary leadership are outlined. 1. Model the way. 2. Inspire to share vision. 3. Challenge the process. 4. Enable others to act. 5. Encourage the heart. They believe that great leaders don't just speak their values, they live them. That leaders don't gain credibility by what they demand, but by what they demonstrate. Another one of their core principles revolves around empowering others. They believe that leadership is not about hoarding power, it is about distributing it. When leaders do this, they foster trust, collaboration, and initiative. It's not about doing everything yourself. It is about creating an environment where people believe that they can. John C. Maxwell's The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership teaches us that leadership is governed by timeless truths, not trends. His law of influence states that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Maxwell believes that leadership is not about position. You can have a title and still fail to lead, but if you consistently influence and inspire others, you are leading even without formal authority. He provided several powerful laws, such as law of the lid. Your leadership ability is the lid on your potential. The higher your leadership ability, the higher your effectiveness. And then there's the law of respect. People naturally follow those who are stronger than themselves, not in force, but in clarity, conviction, and consistency. And Maxwell believes that leadership is not accidental. It is principled, intentional, and earned daily. Finally, General Steve Ritchie. He brings us a perspective forged under fire, literally. As one of the most decorated fighter pilots in U.S. history, General Steve Ritchie led not from behind the desk, but in the cockpit, in the sky, in battle. He argues that excellence in leadership begins with personal excellence, discipline, clarity, and courage under pressure. You don't inspire excellence by demanding it, you do it by living it. Leadership in crisis isn't about barking orders. It is about staying calm, focused, and committed to those you serve. Ritchie reminds us that even in the toughest moments, your example becomes the standard for everyone around you. So, the 4th pillar of lasting leadership is live it, especially when it's hard. Adversity is the real test of character and their ability to lead. From Simon Sinek, we learned that purpose is the foundation of all great leadership. From Kouzes and Posner, we understand that behavior and empowerment are how leadership is practiced and sustained. From John Maxwell, we discovered that influence is the true measure of leadership, one that must be cultivated with integrity and consistency. And from Ritchie, we learned that excellence and discipline help you lead under pressure and adversity. So whether you lead a company, a classroom, a football team, or even just yourself, the authors of the work presented believe you should lead with purpose. Model the behavior you expect from others, and remember that your influence begins not with your words, but with your example. Thank you.